Shri Matre Namaha, Shri Rama Raksha Sarva Jagat Raksha. Before getting into the topic, please like, share and subscribe to our channel so you motivate us in bringing out this sacred content to you. Today I'm going to talk about a movie called as Turning Red. Why I'm talking about it is very important for any of you who is looking to work on the inner child, to understand the inner child. This movie completely is about the inner child healing work, and it is a very nice movie. And if you feel called to, you can watch this. So there'll be a girl called as Mimi in this one, and she'll be like highly knowledgeable, and this girl always get good grades in school, all those things. But she acts like she's like everything is going on perfect in her life. Mostly she'll act in front of her mother that whatever her mother is saying her, that's all fine, and she's very obedient girl, she's very polite girl, she behaves well, she have well manners, she also get good grades, all these things. So but sometimes she internalizes all those things and she feels frustrated inside. She just outside she's like behaving like everything is cool, everything is fine, all cool, but inside she's unable to communicate what is actually happening within her. So this creates a lot of inner child wounds within her. So this movie is all about how she navigates from listening to her mother to how she becomes her most authentic version of herself. So this movie is all about that and how she heals her inner child wounds. So in this one, she behaves well, she eats well, and even though if she doesn't feel like eating, she is like zabardasti forcefully eats whatever her parents are cooking for her, and she thinks that if she don't say no, her parents might get hurt, or if she says, if she says no, her parents get hurt, or if she says no, then they might feel bad of that she's not eating or etc. So she suppresses her emotions, she suppresses her own feelings, and she don't live according to her own terms. She always tries to live according to her mother's terms, and she always makes her mother feel happy, and in this process she feels so much of frustration, and she just suppresses all her emotions and feelings, and then she gets her inner child wounds. One day she figures out that she's a red panda, and she becomes a red panda actually, and she doesn't know how she have become that red panda, and she doesn't know how to come in front of everybody has a red panda, has an form of a red panda. She goes to a school, and in school everybody figures out that she's turning into somebody, and all her frustration comes out in the form of a red panda, because all the time she was suppressing. All that suppression releases out in the form of a red panda, and initially she's unable to manage that her red panda form. And even in the school, when she goes to the school, she used to feel like she feels very awkward, and how if her red panda form appears in front of a public, and how she will feel. Then her mother figures out that she is turning into some kind of a red panda, and again her mother tries to hide that red panda form from everybody, and her mother tells her also to hide this form and to behave nicely, and again to be like a perfect girl, perfect kid who always get good grades. But she is just tired of doing all these things. She tells her best friends that she is red panda, and all her friends think that she is actually cool. She thought in beginning she thought that she'll feel very shameful if somebody figures out about this, and she'll feel ashamed of all these things. But then her friends will help her friends will be her side, and she'll feel cool, and all her friends will support her in her red panda form. And then one fine day she taps into her mother's own unconscious mind. When she taps into her mother's own unconscious mind, she will realize that she comes from the lineage of the red panda. They were given that power to be protectors. They are from the lineage of the protectors. So the entire family lineage is the lineage of protectors. So they have been given this power. It's the protectors DNA is there in their the protector DNA is there in their genes, is there in the DNA. Okay, the protector codes are there in the DNA. But then as the generations pass by, they only do a small stuff of spiritual practices, not much. They don't hardly do any kind of spiritual practices. They just clean the temple, they keep everything nice, they go on with their normal regular routine, because eventually they thought that they are the protector family, they are from the lineage of the protectors. But eventually as the generations pass by, the humanity doesn't need that kind of protection anymore. So they have just suppressed their own genes, the protector genes. They have suppressed their own DNA, and they just passed on from the generations and generations. It was there in the DNA, but as the generations moves on, that protector power wasn't necessary for the humanity anymore. So they did not use that. They did not give that much importance. Her mother also did not share anything about all these things to her, to Mimi. Then when at the end of the movie she taps into her mother's unconscious mind, then she figures out about all these things. Then she decides that she wants to be that red panda, she wants to be the protector, and she embraces that protector gene, she embraces the DNA, she embraces her own gifts in spite of her mother telling not to do all these things. But then she comes into her own authentic version, and she she not only heals her mother but also herself. She heals her mother, and also she comes into her own authentic version, and now she doesn't have any problem with that protector form or that red panda form. So she embraces herself, she owns herself, and she becomes her most authentic version of herself. So she tries to be the way she wants to be, she lives the way she wants to be, even though her DNA was carrying all these things, and she had an option whether to turn off this protector gene codes or protector DNA, or to continue on with this protector gene code or DNA. She chooses, the goddess gives her the option. She chooses the option of letting that red panda be within her. She chooses the option to activate the DNA. She chooses the option to embrace her gene codes, embrace her lineage, embrace the protector's lineage, embrace whatever she was. And she chooses her authenticity, she chooses her DNA, she chooses her DNA activation, she chooses her powers. Okay, so this was a very nice movie, and in this movie it revolves around so many types of inner child wounds. And if you are somebody who is trying to heal their inner child, you can watch this movie. It showcases so many types of inner child wounds. It showcases and if you watch this movie, sometimes maybe your inner child wounds might surface to come to the surface. So do watch it if you are ready, and if you are watching it, and be sure to heal your inner child, because it showcases so many inner child wounds, and also it represents so many inner child wounds. So you can learn a lot from this movie about your inner child wounds, and also you can heal your inner child wounds through this movie, with the help of this movie. So thank you so much for tuning in. Sri Rama Raksha Sarva Jagat Raksha, Sri Matre Namaha.